Hello and welcome to the Peamcast, where we talk about progressing electronics and more. This is the first episode of the Peamcast. Sorry, can't even say my own podcast name. Uh, so today we're going to be talking about iPhone 5. It's been a big topic in the news lately, and Apple is setting up for the event. They are coloring this entire glass building. Very colorfully, just like the old Apple logo, which was, of course, like a rainbow or whatever. Now it's just like white. It's kind of boring, but they're bringing back some coloring the building. It will be September 12th when it will be announced. Yep. Here is some real leaked pictures of the front panel of the iPhone 5, and I'm just going to be showing you guys a lot of things that you may or may not have seen in the news or on websites or whatever. So here's a picture of the front panel, and I kind of like this picture right here because it shows the camera. It shows nope, they didn't move any camera around. It looks to be exactly in the same spot. They didn't really change much there. So you guys can go on to technobuffalo.com and see exactly what I'm seeing. All this information has been leaked. The iPhone 5 is no big surprise. It's not going to be like, oh wow, they came out with a new iPhone. I would have never guessed. No, all this information has been out there. This has been out there for a while. This is old news. I'm just bringing it to the surface just before the event. Here is a picture. This is a real picture of the real Apple pin connector. Everybody has been thinking that the pin connector will be like a 19 pin connector, a 21 pin connector, or a 10 pin, whatever. It is a 9 pin connector. Nothing more, nothing less. It will be a 9-pin connector. You can see how much smaller it is than the traditional Android USB charger. Look how big that is compared to that. It's a little bit smaller, like the whole thing itself is a little bit smaller, but these are its pins. Well, this is like a security thing, but its pins are like right in here. And these are real small right there. If you look in your charger at home and you have an Android or whatever and you see this, you will see how much, how big their pins are, and I don't really know how many pins they have, but that's a picture next to the USB. So here is the frame of the iPhone 5. That sounded creepy. This kind of rose a question. Is the volume rockers on the other side, or is this just a really weird picture, or what? Because the volume rockers on here would be on the right, and the volume rockers here would be on the left. Or would that be opposite, and they're on the right, and these are on the left? Or what is going on with this picture? Because the volume rockers can't be... I don't know. I'm confused on this picture, if you know what I mean. But it does look a lot thinner. This will be the screen right here. See how thick that screen is? But really, if you hold an iPhone, you know it's actually really thin. But yeah, the screen looks really thick here. But then look at that screen. Look how thin that is. That's unbelievable. This appears to me that it's about a 0.5 millimeter thinner. It just looks a lot thinner. And as you can see here, here's the dock. There you go, people. Look how big that dock is. Doesn't that look huge? And then look at the little tiny speakers. Look at now. They're like, Apple finally got smart. They're thinking, we just need a smaller dock. We can have bigger speakers. We have great sound. And we'll get the same charging. Plus, they upgraded the battery. So they'll have longer battery life. It'll be thinner. And they finally moved the 3.5 millimeter headset jack. They finally moved it to the bottom. They've always been thinking, well, we need to put it on the top just because it looks cool. Well, it doesn't look cool, Apple. I'm sorry, but it looks stupid. It needs to be on the bottom. I'm sorry. Actually, I don't really care. I've seen some that are on the side. Some phones have their headset jack on the side. Now, how stupid is that? Honestly, how dumb is that? Why would you put that on the side? What if you're trying to put it in your pocket and listen to music? That's just inconvenient. I'm sorry, I'm ranting, aren't I? Okay. So everybody's also been speculating whether it's going to be called the iPhone 5 or the iPhone. Everybody's been kind of thinking it's just going to be the iPhone, which honestly, that's what I thought. Because they call the iPad just the iPad. People thought it was going to be called the iPad 3, and people still think it's called the iPad 3, but honestly, it is not called the iPad 3. It's just called the iPad. So a lot of people think it's going to be called the iPhone. But, oops, sorry, Apple's calling it the iPhone 5. There was a shadow at the event that the press caught that shows the number 5. Darn. So it's going to be called the iPhone 5, according to technobuffalo.com. So, I'm going to take a short break here. Everybody, if you would please go on to Twitter and follow me at LucasWillis23, that would be awesome. You get all kinds of information from me. You get personal information, which is pretty cool, I guess. I don't know. Is that cool? Also, you'll get some tech updates and stuff like that. You'll get all kinds of cool updates. So follow me on Twitter. And comment below and tell me what the next episode should be about. And if I like it, I will subscribe to you. I'll be doing this every single episode of the Peamcast. If I like your comment and I like what your topic is, I will pick it and I will subscribe to you. So comment below and tell me what the topic should be next time. So back to technobuffalo.com. A lot of people also have been thinking, because a lot of people have seen this back panel and said, well, there's no way it's going to look like that. Well, I'm sorry, people, but it will look exactly like this, which is a little bit more of a design difference than the iPhone 4, which is good. They needed a new design, but they didn't really do that great of a job. All they did was make it matte black. Here is a clone device. This will look exactly like the iPhone 5. And the reason I say it will look exactly like it is because there is always this company that decides they're going to make clone devices that look exactly the same. And how they get this, you may ask, is they go to China and they go to the factory and they get all the parts, they assemble it, then they put their own brand on it, and they make their own iPhone 5, and they call it something different. This one appears to be called the 600 phone, maybe? If you turn your phone, it looks like it's a 600 phone. Very clever. This right here is the iPhone 4 copy. This was just called the phone. So this company, whoever it is that does this, they do very good. Here is the Android copy, the Android iPhone 4S copy, and I think okay. Here's the company, Goo Apple. It's got it's got an Apple logo and Android on it combined. But that's real. You can go out there and buy that. It's cheap. It's like $50. It's an iPhone 4S. But it does not run OS X. It does not. It runs a copy of it, but it does not run it. Okay. So I'm going to tell you guys about one more thing. And this, I will show you the actual picture of the iPhone 5. So, before I do that, again, I'm going to tell you guys, follow me on Twitter at LucasWillis23. Sorry about my computer day. It's running very slow, and I'm not sure why. Okay, I'm trying to build up suspense here. Is it working? No. Okay. All right. I have in my hands an actual picture. Actually, it's not in my hands. It's on the computer. But I have. Oh, speaking of which, Apple decided to change their new earbuds. They look a little different. They look kind of weird to me. They look like spaceships or something. You guys ready? Can you handle it? All right. There it is. Here is the iPhone 5, what it will look like. Bum ba bum. It looks no different. Yeah, it doesn't really look that much different. It's just a little bit taller. And I don't know why they had to choose a green one to compare it next to, but that's the iPhone 4S right there. This is the iPhone 5. It is taller. It's no thinner, but it is taller, definitely. Now, Apple is too old school. They will just refuse. They are stubborn. They will not get rid of this physical home button. They really, in my opinion, they need to get rid of it and upgrade to touch buttons. What everybody else is doing. This is why people are falling out of the funk of Apple. People want these, fancy phones with physical, or not physical, I'm sorry. They want touch buttons. Physical buttons are really old school. It reminds me of a BlackBerry. BlackBerries have physical buttons. That's pretty much the only phones that do nowadays. BlackBerries and old Android phones. But Apple really needs to upgrade that and make it a touch button, and then I will really like it. But as you can see, the camera is, this time it's above the speaker. And besides that, the screen is 4 inches long. It's not much different. They actually made it this dimension because it is the exact dimension for movies, cinema movies, or YouTube videos. It's right here. That is horrible. iPhones have always had the wrong dimensions. Apple screwed up when they first made the iPhone because they made the wrong dimension for the screen. And so Steve Jobs died, and they finally decided that they were going to go against what he said, pretty much, and make the real dimensions of what a video is. Because this has never been the dimensions of a video. If you go on there and watch a YouTube video, it always tells you to double tap to zoom or whatever. And that's because it's not the real dimensions of a video. So they finally decided to make it the real dimensions. So that's all I've got for you guys today for the Peemcast. Make sure to go on to Twitter and follow me at LucasWillis23. And subscribe to me, please. And again, comment below with your title of what the next podcast should be. And if I like it, I will subscribe to you. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.